Apologies, Chip.
It's okay.
Of that wide receiver unit of yours, has any of the players stood out to you after these first 3 days? Stood out in a good way?
Not really, and not negatively or positively. All we do, and you guys have seen it, we want to get as many reps as possible. So it's go, go, go. And then when we get a chance as coaches, we're really evaluating when we're going to watch the practice tape. I'm also aware of, I've seen kids where, you call one day wonders, one day he's like, oh my God, and then the next day, you come out, what happened, he's under practice today. So, it's got to be a consistent thing, and all of them have flashed at times, but, the biggest thing, and that's why, we got 22 practices before we make a real evaluation of it, because it's got to be a consistent thing. It's not just, well, that kid flashed one day and had a really good Tuesday 3 weeks ago. It's who on a consistent basis can we depend on that he's where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there, and he's catching the football. I've been pleased with those guys who go through 3 practices, but you'll start to see next week is really the litmus test, because they kind of hit the wall after 5 or 6 practices when you see it because we do ask those guys to run a whole heck of a lot in practice, and it's because we ask them to run a whole heck of a lot in games, so it'll be interesting to see it continues to go through. But after 3 days, I'm pleased.
You mentioned on media day that you'll find out when they get here if he's in shape in the summer. You don't listen to other people. If someone's throwing up on the field, you'll see it. How were the guys? You see anyone throwing up first 2 days?
I'm really happy with our conditioning right now, just on how we practice and what those guys are doing. That's really been my thing. There is a test, and really part of our test is if you're here in the summer, you don't have to take the test. The only test is for the guys that missed a few things. All of our newcomers always test. And I think for upperclassmen, there's only like 2 or 3, and some of those guys, because they had an academic thing or something like that, just didn't make it through enough of Coach Rad's workouts to pass. But so far, overall, as a total group, we're in as good a shape as from the conditions as I've seen.
Are they competing for a job right away? Are you evaluating from day one?
Oh yeah, it's all an accumulation. If someone's going to wait a week or 2 now to say, oh, now it's on, they're going to get passed on now. So every single day, we're evaluating and we're juggling it and trying to see, where those guys are, and they got to understand that. And the one thing we tell them is that we evaluate you in everything, and that's where I think some kids are still learning that. So you may be the scout guy covering a kickoff, and we're doing a kickoff return drill, but we're evaluating you as a kickoff guy when we're running down the field. So if a kid comes in and says, hey, I'd like to be a part of special teams, well, we've practiced special teams for 5 practices, and you haven't done anything. He goes, well, I'm not on the unit. Well, you're on the scout unit, so if you're practicing kickoff return, you should be practicing kickoff. And that's the way a lot of guys have stood out here in the past. Coach Oz talked to him last night about special teams, but it's how TJ Ward made his mark. 3 years ago, when we were running kickoff return, we couldn't block Avery Patterson running down the field on kickoff as a scout player. So we were smart enough as coaches to get Avery Patterson on our kickoff team. And at the end of the year, 2 years ago, he was our best kickoff cover guy. But that showed because in preseason camp, even though he was a scout player, we couldn't block him. And we felt like we had a pretty good kickoff return unit, and if we can't block him, then the kid must be doing something right. So they can, everything we do is an evaluation. And most of our guys, young guys, got to figure it out a little bit, but by and large, everybody understands it. So they all got to be working hard because everything we do is film, so we get a chance to see everything.